Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. All right, you guys, we're here today to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. And it's going to be really quick because nothing happened. And I think they had an extra long, hold on, let me see. Somebody said, yep, an hour and 18 minutes. Why? Why? Because it was terrible. And it seemed like it was never ending. I was like, when is this shit going off? But we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it very quickly because nothing really happened. So let's get to it. Oh, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you be part of the Beautiful People family. Like the video, you guys. It does wonders for my analytics. Comment. Let's talk about everything that's going on. And now let's get to it. All right, y'all, just real quick, because we start off with them showing everybody and what they're doing and everything. And y'all, they show Marlo and Sonya's room. And when I tell you it's nasty, were they rooming together or is Sonya in her room just talking to her? Because when I tell you it's shit everywhere, and no way, absolutely not. Like, I could not room with somebody like that. Like, why is there stuff all over that room? Anyway, that has nothing to do with nothing. Just thought I'd share. All right, so at the same time, we have. All right, sorry, y'all. But at the same time, we have Manetta going to see Kenya, and they're talking about everything that happened last night. Kenya says that, Candy was so mad last night that she called her, and she's like, Kenya, I'm not crazy. Like, was she or was she not kissing Toya? And she's like, yeah. So we have Marlo, Kenya, and Candy all agreeing that this girl kissed Toya. We also have Toya saying on the reunion that they kissed. And we have Toya saying on Candy Speak on It that they kissed. Y'all, I don't care. I don't care about any of this shit. Like, I don't care about none of it for real. I just feel like this show sucks. Like, it sucks. The stuff that they are talking about, the stuff that they are rehashing, the stuff that we are going back and forth about. And I'll tell you this, even on this episode where they were like going back and forth, and we had Kenya going back and forth with the nobody, Courtney or whatever. Y'all, every time Courtney talk, we'll get to it. But we had that going on, and it still just wasn't all that interesting to me. I wasn't like, ooh, we got us one. Because we got us one what? Like, what are they even arguing about? All this shit is stupid. And it seems a little made up. And I don't know. It just seems a little fabricated, put on. We don't care. It's nothing. Who cares? We didn't care. We heard about this, what, 3 or 4 years ago when they kissed. We didn't care then. And we definitely don't care now. So why are we rehashing this for real, for real? All right, so they all get on the bus to go to do this sound bath. And we have Marlo saying her grandmother wouldn't approve of a sound bath. She would rather just pray, read the Bible, and have a cocktail. And I'm like, all that just does not go together. Like, she gonna have some Jesus juice after she reads the Bible. Sheree, y'all, I really hate the fact that Sheree messed with her face, number one, and I hate the fact that she messed with her boobs. Like, I really feel like Sheree had a banging body and it was just normal and natural. And she was one of the only people that you could say, like, she had no work done or whatever. Like, she just worked out a lot and her body was great. But now that she's done all this stuff, like in every confessional, her boobs are like sitting and they're huge and they're just out. Okay. But yeah, and I'm not sure how I feel about Sheree being the facilitator of all of this healing and healthy. Like, she's not the one. I'm sorry. But anyway, we're on our way to the sound bath. And Drew says that Marlo needs the sound bath more than anyone. And I'm like, girl, you do too, because you're a liar, liar, pants on fire. Kay is so dumb. She says she's never had a sound bath, and then she's like, oh, but then again, I don't really take a lot of baths. And she's like, oh, that's not the same thing. You guys, baths are amazing. Amazing. I started taking one every Sunday, and it is relaxing as shit. Like, just sit there, just soak, and just baths are relaxing. Like, I used to be like that where, it's always a shower and everything, but no, like, just sit there and take it all in and relax. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, we have a little bit of banter going back and forth. Like, we have the nobody, Courtney, in the confessional talking about Kenya said that she was diagnosed with trauma. And I'm like, trauma? And she's like, well, more like drama because she's a drama queen. And y'all, when this girl talks, every time she speak, all I hear is that song. She be talking on the side of her mouth, y'all. So I just be hearing side talking. I know it's jive talking, but I be hearing like side talking because her lips are all the way on the side of her goddamn mouth, and she needs to just shut up. Like, why is she here? Again, why is she here? Oh, I meant that her lips are on the side of her face, not her lips are on the side of her mouth. But yeah, it looks very strange. And I'm gonna feel bad if something happened to her where she has to talk on the side of her mouth, but I don't think so. I just think that's how she speaks. And everything that comes out of her mouth is ridiculous. So that's why I feel like I'm okay talking about it a little bit. Okay, y'all. So they do the sound bath, and afterwards, he says, "Listen, you can share. What happened while you were sleeping or while you were, relaxed." And Drew says that she saw her family and she saw Ralph. And in the confessional, Marlo is like, "Drew." Oh, she said, "It just seems like my family was waiting for me." And Marlo says, "Drew, Ralph was not waiting for you." Yeah, I died because that's exactly what I was thinking when she said it. I'm like, no, no, he wasn't. And she said he's waiting for that lady in Vegas that was oiling him up or whatever. And yeah, Drew, save it. So also after the sound bath, Kenya was having a moment where she's like really crying, and Sherea's asking her, "Is she okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I don't want to talk about it right now." But then afterwards, she spoke with the lady who was leading the whole sound bath thing. I think her name was Gita, and Gita's like, "Listen, did you have some sort of a breakthrough or something like really hit you when you were doing the sound bath?" And she says, "Yeah." And she's like really crying, and she's like, "I think I can help more people, and I also think my daughter is very special, and I don't deserve her. What did I do to deserve her?" And yeah, like I'm just very, very happy for Kenya having her daughter, because we all know what happened with her and her mom not being there for her and not really wanting her, and that's really hard. That's really tough. So she's able to pour all that love into her daughter, and I love that. I love that for her. And now she's thinking that she would like to have a sibling for Brooklyn. And yeah, that is my biggest regret, is not having a sibling for my kid, because I she wanted one. I didn't know until she was like a teenager that she really, really wanted one. And after I had her, I was just like, nah, like I love this girl way too much to have more. Like I just want to give all my love to this girl. But it does nothing, because unfortunately when something happens to me, God forbid, but when I'm gone, like she will feel like she has no one. No one at all. Like when you have siblings, you have your siblings. But yeah, it's just real shitty. I mean, she has siblings on her dad's side, but it's not the same. So, yeah, so I really, really do hope that Kenya is able to have another one. And again, I just love the fact that she's able to, she was able to have Brooklyn. And Brooklyn is such a good baby. Like later on, she's going to be talking to Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's like, "What's wrong?" And she's telling her, "Oh, well, the girls are a little mean to me," which I would have never told my kid or whatever. I would have just been like, "Oh, I'm a little sad because I miss you," or whatever. But I probably would have never been like, "Oh, these girls are mean to me." Like she tells her a lot, apparently. She's honest with her. But I also don't get into the whole telling people how to parent, because I do what the fuck I want with my kid. I always have, and nobody can tell me anything. So I don't try to tell people how to parent. So that's fine that she told her that, because her baby was just like, "Oh, mommy, I love you." And it was just the sweetest thing. I mean, just the sweetest thing. And she wasn't really fazed by the fact that her mom said people were being mean to her. So again, you can't tell people how to parent their kids. They know what their kids can handle, etc. So it was a good moment. Marlo said that she was able to get some good sleep because she doesn't really sleep. After 4 gunmen kicked in her door, she only sleeps during the day. But at night, she says she's up because she doesn't feel safe. So that's a little sad. And I believe her. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good thing, I guess. All right, so now they go to have lunch. I guess they go upstairs. Y'all, I don't like people who eat with their jackets on, like their jackets and their coats on. I don't like that. Like, I think it's nasty. And I think, where did I get that from? It was either my grandmother, excuse me, or my mom, where, yeah, I just think it's nasty to have your outdoor coat and stuff on at the table, but it's okay. I mean, they're doing it, so okay. I'm looking at Sonya as I'm saying this, but I also know that Sheree has on like this jacket thing that I guess is part of her outfit. I don't know, because she even did the sound bath with it on. I don't know. I just don't like that. But they're eating, and it's so funny because I don't know if you guys noticed, but they had them seated like it wasn't a good 6 inches apart, but it was like maybe 4 or 5 inches apart. And I'm like, oh, okay, still, doing the whole COVID thing. That's cool. Because Marlo is always coughing up a lung or whatever. Like, what she got? She been coughing the entire season. It's really kind of nasty. But he brings out the food. Oh, first off, let's talk about Sheree talking about these fibroids again. And again, I remember when it first came up, I'm like, oh, that's good that she's talking about it. People can learn from her. And I watched Kempire today, and he made a really good point that she is dropping the ball, and the producers are dropping the ball with this whole fibroid thing, because instead of people learning from it, like she's talking about witches and holistic healing and all that, which, okay, some people can go that way, but like she's really not. I don't know. I just feel like people that have it and like you're just not throwing out the word fibroid every 2 seconds, and that's what she's doing. Like everything is like, oh, because it's gonna help with my fibroids. This sound bath is gonna help with my fibroids. These meatballs gonna help with my fibroids. Like nobody does that. So what is she talking about? But anyway, they bring the food up. It didn't look good, and he sets it down, and he just says, "Okay, these are meatballs," and I'm like, okay, and what else? Like, what kind of meatballs? Like, what's so special about the meatballs and beans and rice? Yuck. No, thank you. I'm gonna pass. All right, so we end up talking about how fun last night was, except for when it went bad and people were recording, and Marlo was like, I don't care that I was recording because I wasn't the only one that was recording. And Drew was like, yeah, but you were the only one that was being a snake. And we all know by now that she has sent the tape, the video or whatever, to Latoya. So, yeah, even though Manetta was recording as well, she wasn't sending it out to people who weren't there. So her and Drew gets into it, and Drew is like snapping. She's calling her a bitch, and she's like, focus on growing your hair follicles, bitch. And like, she's going in on her. And Marlo is just sitting there laughing, like, oh, okay, okay. And it looks like it doesn't really go, like it's disproportionate. Like, Drew is looking crazy because she's really going off on Marlo, but this is how Marlo normally goes off on them. So now that she's decided that I'm going to sit here and act like I have some sense, it makes Drew look crazy. And it makes Drew look like she's going and hidden beneath the belt, which she is. But we know that that's how Marlo does as well, but she's just not doing it right now. So Drew is coming off like she's doing too much. She's doing a lot. And so they go back and forth. It's not a huge deal. They try to stop them from arguing, and then we get into another one, of course. Yeah, then we get into the whole thing of the collusion. And Manetta said she felt like she was witnessing a collusion. And the producers and everybody is just asking, like, do you guys know what collusion means? Do you know what collusion means? And most of them knew, except who didn't know? Drew. Drew didn't know. She had to look it up. I'm not mad. If she had to look it up and she did, that's fine. And then she's like, yes, it's giving Marlo illegal. It's giving Marlo. So, yeah, I don't know why Manetta. I mean, that's fine that she used the term. It's fine. It's just nothing that we used on the Housewives before. All right, y'all. So then we get into this whole thing with Side Talker and Kenya arguing about who's the moment and karma and all that. And I'm not going to go like blow for blow because I don't care. And I just feel like I wish Kenya would just not speak to her. Like, don't give her her moment, because she is really, really trying to have a moment off of Kenya. Like, oh, karma is getting you. And like, she's just doing a whole heck of a lot. And I don't like her. Like, I honestly want to see her get punched in the face. I do. I do. I would actually love to be the one to do it. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. But I don't like her, and I don't want to see her next year. Next season, we don't need her. We then have not Marlo, Sheree, like, you guys are an embarrassment. And she gets up and starts crying, and we don't believe you. We're not buying it. We don't think you care that much. Like, it's giving phony. So she walks away from the table, and then pretty much everyone else is going away from the table. Drew is trying to warn her cousin, quote unquote cousin, about Marlo, and she doesn't care. Like, she picked a side. Side Talker is definitely on Marlo's team, and that's okay. Leave her there because we're hoping everybody on Marlo's team does not come back next season. I swear to God, I would be fine if Marlo, Sheree, Sonya, and Side Talker beat it. Oh, and Manetta. Like, she's collateral damage because she does nothing. All right, so again, we're not going to talk about each and every scene because nothing was giving anything really. But I just don't understand why twice in this episode, Kenya and Drew and like the girl and Manetta, like they were sitting talking with Sheree about Marlo and the other girls, and I just don't understand why they were talking to Sheree. Like, Sheree was a plant. Like, she's over there. She's not one of you. She's one of them. Why are you talking to her? And every time they would tell her something, she would kind of have an answer defending the other people. And unfortunately, yeah, they're sides. And Sheree is not on y'all's side. So why are y'all having these conversations with her? And they did it twice this episode, and I didn't understand why. All right, so now we're at dinner, and the ladies are dressed up. They go to this place on the bus. Sonya has on these silver Balenciaga pants, and Manetta really liked them because she's like rubbing on her legs, like, ooh, sexy. And I'm like, okay. I mean, okay. But when we get there, we find out that Drew and Ralph are no longer in counseling or therapy. She's still going, but he's no longer going. And Kenya in the confessional was like, sounds like something is up with Ralph. And she's like, but when is it not? And I'm like, yeah, like at this point, we already know they're going through a divorce in real life, right? If we believe that. But, I mean, y'all already know what I'm going to say, that I don't care, because I don't care. I don't care about Drew and Ralph. I don't. And unfortunately, you just never know what to think, what to believe with them. But yeah, I just don't care. Oh, so this also ends up being a thing. Marlo asks for two margaritas. What's her name? Kenya orders an espresso martini, and they end up doing a toast. Kenya takes her drink. She don't like it. So when they finally bring the margaritas, they set one next to Kenya because she's sitting next to Sonya, and I guess Marlo was ordering for her and her minion. And Kenya moves the margarita towards her like it's her drink. And then, like, as Sonya comes back and sit down, to sit down, she's like, "Is this my drink?" And Kenya's like, "Oh, he just said it right there. I didn't know. Is this your drink?" And she like gives it back to Sonya. So in the confessional, Sonya's like, "Damn, I can't even have a drink. Like, they gonna take everything." Yeah, Kenya, you out of gas. She was trying to steal that girl's drink. Just send it back. Say you don't like it, because she actually did tell Manetta, yeah, you wouldn't like this. It just tastes like coffee or whatever. So we know she didn't like her drink. Just send it back. Ask for a margarita, girl. It's not that serious. All right. So we have a moment at the table where Sonya is giving everybody their rights. Like, she's telling them what she agreed with and what she didn't agree with. And I'm like, who cares? No one gives a shit, Sonya. We don't want you here anyway. So who cares what you agree with? But she was finally saying that Marlo did something wrong. Marlo should not have recorded and sent it. What's her name? Manetta shouldn't have used the word collusion. Who cares what Sonya thinks, really? But anyway, we get into Drew and Marlo going at it. They going back and forth, and then Marlo says something about Ralph in terms of, yeah, isn't your husband in technology or something like that she was telling her. And she's like, you don't know what my husband is into. And I'm like, None of us really do we? Like, do we know what Ralph is into? Do we care what Ralph is into? So yeah, it was a bunch of nothing basically. All right, then we have this whole conversation about karma, and then the producers proceed to talk. Take us back on all the things that Kenya did this season, where she was like really snapping off on people. And when I saw it, I was like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this again? Like they did the same thing to her and Candy earlier, and I don't know. I just feel like the producers are kind of setting them up this season to look like the bad guy. Like why are they showing that? Because half the time that Kenya was going off, it was for good reason. So why are they making it seem like she's unstable? I didn't like it. All right, so we have another moment where they're sitting, they're at a wine tasting, and Marlo gets a text. She sets her phone down and she says, listen, everything is always written all over my face, so I can't really hide it. So I just want to let everybody know. I just got a text from Ralph. And then we go to a commercial, and I ain't gonna lie, I was sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm like, what the fuck does Ralph want? Why is he texting you? Like, I was really all into why was Ralph, why? What does he want? So apparently he's threatening her, basically. He's like, yeah, Drew told me you still got my name in your mouth. When all she really said, I mean, in Marlo's defense, which y'all know I never do, but in her defense, all she said was, yeah, your husband works for IT or technical or something like that. Like, she didn't say anything bad about him. We can all say a lot of bad shit about Ralph, honestly. So he better be glad that's all she said. But yeah, Drew went back and told him, and he felt the need to threaten Marlo and be like, keep my name out your mouth because he's a girl. He just is. Like, Ralph's a bitch. I mean, he just is. Okay, so at the wine tasting, they're all getting really, really drunk, and they have some dancers come out. Drew is so dumb. She's like, oh, the pilgrims came out to perform for us. And the producer's like, why do you say they're pilgrims? And she's like, oh, they weren't pilgrims? I'm like, Drew, oh my God. Like, pilgrims? That's what she called them? Anyway, like, the episode is pretty much done, but I'll finish till the end, even though, like, this was just a bunch of nothing, guys. Yeah, that was it actually. They ended up teaching the people the cuff it challenge, and okay, that's great. But I do want to point out because I did miss the part where Drew was saying that she felt like Candy was lying on her, and she just kept saying Candy's lying, Candy's lying. I don't know why Candy's lying, and we all know that Drew's the liar about the whole kiss and Latoya thing. And then she ends up saying, yeah, I feel like maybe she has this part for me where I have to like women, and she maybe wanted to warm me up for it. All of that is just real ignorant. It was real ignorant of Drew to say that. And we had the speak on it, Candy speak on it, which I watched, and Bondi was on there, Bondi Blue. Shout out to Bondi Blue. She did a really good job on there. And I loved it because she was giving all the girls the business, and you know that the girls are going to watch it. So, there's some YouTubers that, some of the people may or may not watch. You don't know. They may not watch Bondi really. But she was on there and she was with Candy. So, everybody on the show is going to end up watching it. And she was letting them have it, especially Sonya. So, I was very happy about that. So, shout out to Bondi Blue. But yeah, that was very hurtful to Candy. And it is true that unfortunately Candy tries to help people, and she gives them parts, she gives them jobs and everything. In some kind of way, they always come back to bite her in the ass. And I think it's very unfortunate. Now, y'all know Candy's not my favorite. I don't dislike her, but she's not my favorite. Like, she's not. But she does give people help. So we can't dispute that. But yeah, so I do want to point that out, that I think as of right now, her and Drew, what she said, her and Drew are on decent terms. Drew ended up doing the part in the show, and it was fine. So she's like, I'm seeing a lot of stuff in the confessionals that I didn't see before, and do I go off of that, or do I go off of the fact that we've already had these conversations and we're supposed to be good now? Because Bondi was asking her, like, are you still fucking with Drew? Because she's not coming off like she's your friend, basically. So yeah, that was the episode, and then we have, I guess, the second part. We still have more to come about Drew kissing Ty, and like, I don't care. I don't give a shit who Drew kisses. Like, I don't care at all. So I'm over it. And then we have the reunion, which I guess they already filmed, and it is what it is. If you are still here, you are the real MVP. Thank you very much. If you have not already, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you be part of the Beautiful People family. Thumbs up the video, you guys. It does wonders for my analytics, and I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.